Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Broaden the scope of exposure for your business by going beyond the interview. Learn more at www.jmmbmediallc.com or email us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. Quote, industrial pollution and the discarding of plastic waste must be tackled for the sake of all life in the ocean. Sir David Attenborough. Today we welcome Eric Shaffner. Eric is the CEO of ZeLoop, an innovative circular economy rewarding platform to make our planet healthier. He graduated as an engineer, ENSAIA Nancy, with specialization in beverage brewing and manufacturing. Eric worked in the beverage packaging industry for over 20 years and in a variety of commercial, leadership, and operational roles worldwide. He worked several years as international key account manager for Nestle. He simultaneously managed the home and personal care segment as business development director. When he moved to Japan to become the general manager of Sidel Japan and then relocated to Dubai, he met his partners for his current endeavor, ZeLoop. Together, they focus their expertise and values to help change disposal habits in society. Eric is here to tell us what all this means. Welcome, Eric. I hope I got that all right.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here today. I'm very excited to share.
Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so honored to have you. And tell us about ZeLoop.
It's been a journey. So ZeLoop is two things. It's a reward platform to incentivize individual to embody and pro-environmental behaviors. And on this platform, you can plug any application, and we have our own mobile application that incentivizes users for bringing used plastic bottles to point of collection that are mapped, crowdsourced by the community. And they're also rewarded for fighting existing littering by going on a clean walk, collecting trash, and we reward them for the steps they perform.
Wow.
Awesome.
That is very awesome.
Yes. Yay, ZeLoop. Wow. An idea that it's time for this. It's so timely because I think we are all sick of seeing trash everywhere, and maybe the only way we can get people to do something is to reward them, incentivize them. What a clever idea for cleaning up our home, planet Earth.
It may be not the only way, but it's definitely a way we should not neglect. The easier way is you have legislation in many places where you put penalties on behavior and so on. But I think we have already overloaded by fines if you drive too fast, if you drink too much, if you do this too much and you don't do that, and so on. And we've been educated since childhood, and that is cross-cultural. It applies to any country in the world. We have been educated to say if you do something good, you get a reward, or a smile, a tap on your shoulder. Or if you do something wrong, yes, you get some not a smile and maybe punishment and so on. But you always had the good, something good or something more constraining. And then when it comes to environmental behavior, we take for granted that, well, if you do something good for the planet, it's normal. So we don't need a smile or acknowledgement of that. But in the other places, some will put some fines and so on, and just use the stick and not the carrot. So we thought that, yeah, why not using that powerful incentive, which is the reward. After, obviously, you have to find a way to make it fun and that the reward has a value for the people who received it.
So the people that receive it are the younger generation, or what's the age groups?
Yeah, we try to gamify things. I mean, on the application, and that, I always speak about the two levels. Is in the application we leverage a gamification, obviously using a mobile app may be a barrier for some generation. So yeah, we will address more the younger generation that are more used to having, unfortunately, sometimes all the time on their phone. So they could also use the phone as a tool to be rewarded when they do something good for the planet. And it's why we selected the phone, because it's universal. Today, almost everyone has a phone, and even in developing countries, will be the first asset that someone will buy once they have a bit of wealth. So yeah, it's a common tool. It's maintained by the user, and then it's a vehicle very good to bring solutions. On the platform, we can host with behind the app. We have our reward engine that use blockchain, and that we will talk about the reward itself. But on the principle, when we reward a gesture, it plugs to the reward blockchain engine, and that can be available for any kind of solution. It can be web-based, it can be mobile-based. So we are not just restricting to one mechanism. It can be for different recyclables, it can be for car sharing, it can be for anything that we will see fit in the ecosystem. So that at least the gesture at the individual level has to be eco-friendly.
Wow, that is a genius.
It absolutely is genius. How widespread is it now? Is it just in France or Japan, or where is it?
No, the application has been released worldwide on the store for iOS and Androids. So everyone can download it from the store. We have users. We have about 15,000 users on the app. They are distributed a good half are in the UAE, because that's where we launched with some partners, with some brands and so on. So there was some direct acquisition, but we have users in 160 countries.
Wow.
Which is just to show the spread, because it's primarily organic. And then the collection point that have been mapped by the user is in 60 countries. So at least 60 countries where people have been active using the app, because you can download and do nothing afterwards. So yeah, it's very versatile, and because we plug on existing network of bins that are designed for segregation of plastic. So let's say you have a bin next door that is designed for segregation of plastic. You take a picture of the bin, upload in the system. Our administrator check, validate the bin, and then it becomes an active point where you can be rewarded. So that process can apply everywhere. And we see that also how it spread during summer breaks, because then you see new countries because people are traveling. And then for the plugging, for the cleanup part, that you even don't need an existing network. And that is why we also added that feature on the app, because you may be in a place where there is no network yet, because it's not developed, but you can already start to contribute and get on board with just doing plugging. So the plugging is you collect, you go for a walk, you run, you collect trash. At the end of the session, you take picture of the trash. We check that there was an action of walking and collecting trash, and then you are rewarded for the steps. So that can be used everywhere, and that's really what we wanted to be super easy and versatile, universal.
Wow.
All righty.
This is
I can
so
see this
great.
being awesome.
This is very awesome. And how did you guys come up with this idea?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's two. It's like the alignment of planets. I come from the package industry, so I've dealt with many brands that use plastic bottles to bring beverage or a liquid to consumers. Which what people forget is the less impacting way to bring a liquid to a consumer compared to can and glass, because it's lighter. Aluminium is very energy consuming to produce the aluminium itself. So the problem is not always due to the material itself, it's more the way we dispose it off. But if you look at the full life cycle of the container, the plastic container has actually the lowest carbon footprint when it comes to bring a beverage. Obviously, we also want to avoid to use it if we can, but when you need to bring beverage in a place where there's no other options, that is the most meaningful or the less impactful container. So I've been in that industry, dealing with these different brands and so on. I could see the growing pain point about plastic pollution, that I never like the term of plastic pollution, because unfortunately is only the tip of the iceberg, because plastic floats. So you see that tip, but when you do cleanups and so on, you find plastic, you find metals, you find everything that we produce as a human being ends up in, unfortunately, as a litter on the planet. So it's why we try also to expand beyond the plastic, because it's not only the plastic that is a problem. We have a problem of disposing our productions, our products and so on. So I've seen that growing industry. As a private investors, I wanted to learn more about blockchain, and I had the opportunity to invest in a startup that developed that blockchain reward engine that we are using today. It was designed for social impact. And then I say, hey guys, why don't, after learning more about there is a group of 3 young geeks, ex-Apple and coming from the mobile industry, I say, hey, why don't you want also to work on the environmental vertical, do environmental impact with that reward engine? And so they were very keen. So we thought that we had something good, a good technology and good idea. And then it was good enough for me to jump from that corporate world to the startup world. So that's how ZeLoop was born, basically, from a conjunction of idea. But I would not have had the idea if I had not learned for 2 years about the blockchain, the mechanism to create value for all the stakeholders, and then to put that together as a universal tool for rewarding eco-friendly gestures.
Wow.
Actually, you
That is,
put it together so we can clean up
I
behind
can't
ourselves.
wait to download my app. So how do I get it?
Yes.
Yes.
And
It's very easy.
Is it for
Okay.
Android and iPhone, or is it only for
No.
Android?
It's both. Nowadays, if you do an app, if you do just, it's not possible to do just one.
No,
When you
yes.
look at the distribution, some part of the world is primarily Android, some other part of the world is primarily iOS. But overall, it's quite balanced. When I look at the stats for our app, I will say it's some of 50-50. So
Very
you have to cater for both. So yeah, there's no hurdle to download it, whatever phone you have. You need data, obviously, because we use your geolocation when you use the app, because we need to know where you are. So we cross-check your position versus the point of collection, and that is what enables us also to validate the fact that you have been disposing the bottles in the process for bottles. Yeah, it's fairly easy. After, it's why we're also using our own utility token. It's called the Eco Rewards. So it's in the category of the cryptocurrency, but not, as a currency that has no ecosystem like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum. It's a utility token that has a value within the ecosystem that we have defined. But that is interesting because it can address everywhere. And maybe in the app, you can swap your eco rewards against goods and services. We have discount vouchers. We have vendors that give from 10 to 50% discount. Some value the bottle in terms of purchasing power up to 50 cents, dollar cents per bottle, which is a world record of valuation, but is not cash in your pocket, is a purchasing power. You have to spend with the vendor to activate that discount. But if you were about to buy something from them, it's 50% discount or is a 50 cents per bottle equivalent. But we have partners. We try to grow the partners and always look for new, ideally e-commerce, because they are the most flexible to connect with an app. But like say, if you are in the US, we have some vendors that deliver to US, but we have also some vendors that don't deliver to US. And in some part of the world, we may have very few vendors that will access. Let's say if you are in Mongolia, very few vendors will deliver over there. But then the token is where the token is also important, because then in Mongolia, maybe the token has enough value for you to stack and then swap again US dollar digital, and then maybe buy a drink after a thousand of bottles, or get a meal after a couple of thousand of bottles. So that's why it's important to have that token. It's already listed, so it has a dollar value, digital dollar value. So it's tradable to give that universality. So you can earn everywhere in the world, you can convert anywhere in the world at different rates. It's more favorable in the marketplace, but at least you can do it everywhere in the world.
Wow.
Fabulous. I'll tell you what I'm hearing. I'm hearing communities coming together, neighborhoods coming together. And yes, it may be the young people, give them something positive to do, to bring the community together to clean up their neighborhoods. And everyone ends up getting the rewards. So yeah, it sounds like something that could be turned into a neighborhood or community project.
Absolutely.
And to help them to keep their neighborhoods clean. You know, there's a little spot right where I live where I could see myself doing that, you know. Yeah, everybody seems to think it's their place to smoke and drop their cigarette butts and whatever beverage cans and tins that they happen to have, you know. And I think that's part of what you're doing, is helping people to focus on the fact that there's trash on the ground.
Absolutely. And it's fun.
And there's something we can do something about it. We don't just have to angst and, you know, and moan and groan about it. We can actually do something. I like this idea.
It can be fun. It's like kind of Pokemon Go of finding trash or finding new bins to add to the community. And we organize also competition, and that is actually how we finance ourselves on the app. We sell those challenges to brands or to companies to either incentivize end user or to incentivize their employees and get on board on the gesture, and hopefully get changing habits. When people start to see the value behind the waste, it changed the behavior. You know, I always say, you know, would you litter with gold? I never saw anybody, unfortunately, littering with gold. Otherwise, I will probably walk behind or do their bin, visit their trash bin. Never happened to me, so I don't do that. But yeah, it's if you start to see that, hey, this bottle that is on the ground can bring you 50 cents of purchasing power. Well, you see that bottle differently than before, isn't it?
Absolutely. So how is the app on what is it, Google Apps and what is it,
the App Store and
the App Store.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is so interesting.
This is
just
very, very interesting.
Wow.
And beyond that is that we also we have developed our own app, ZeLoop, and so on. But you know, we are not there are many eco-friendly gestures that can be rewarded, and we are not expert on all the eco-friendly gestures on Earth. So we make that reward engine available. So either you have a solution and you have already an app, we can do then an API to the reward engine, and then you can have the tokenization benefits. And that's what we do currently for a partner in Latin America. They have about 100,000 members, and they have a point system like we do. They are on multiple recyclables, not only plastic. And then we will switch all their points into the co-reward system. So they will be tokenized, and then they will join the community. So people can use locally this app because they are more restricted to some areas in Latin America. And then they can also switch and use in parallel ZeLoop when they travel and so. We have done one app for in the US in the Erie in Pennsylvania, in Erie town, where the partner is aiming at collecting all plastic non-sorted, not only bottles. And we have started an app for a client in Hong Kong, where they will do they will reward people when they go to responsible stores because they have eco-friendly products and so on, or vegan restaurants and so on. So they will reward for that act. And because they like the way we reward on the bottle, they ask us also to add the bottle function and the plugging. And then they share again the eco reward. So you see that we gradually, we want to create that kind of ecosystem where for the user, you have the multiple point of contact. Say tomorrow, I'm rewarded because I save water. I'm rewarded because I fight littering. I'm rewarded because I return batteries and so on. And then because we multiply the same logic on many more occasions, so that you start to embed it as a regular behavior. Because the risk with an app like in ZeLoop, plugging, you can do that all the time. But if you do on the bottle, you may not have always bottles close to you. So you may not go all the time to the app, and you may forget to go and back to the old habits. But if you have multiple touch points, then you have more chance to change behavior as a solid base.
Wow. I think this is just a phenomenal concept.
Yes.
Working. It's not even a concept, it's working.
It's working. Yeah.
Congratulations, because it's for a cleaner planet. And we all moan and groan about it, but you're doing something about it. And ZeLoop. So I like the name. Why did you choose that name, ZeLoop?
So obviously we did a bit of brainstorm when we started the company, and we had different names. So that name came from an idea, is that overall we wanted to focus on the gesture of the individual, and we don't collect the plastic ourselves. We really on that very moment where the consumer has finished consumption. And there's only two choices. Either you litter, or you bring the bottle to a place, to a bin where it has a chance to be recycled and so on. So, and that is part of the circular economy step. Yeah. You produce, you consume, then you collect and recycle. And that the consumer is key. If you don't take care of the consumer, you break that loop, that potential loop of the circular economy. So with ZeLoop, basically you close the loop of the circular economy. And as you have noticed, I'm French, and French have problems to pronounce D. They will, it doesn't exist exactly the D, the English D, we have to put the tongue on the top. So we will most French will pronounce it Z or Z. So the ZZE. So we say, okay, we close the loop. So we turned that to ZeLoop, and the name was available, and we selected it. It was short, efficient, so we liked it and kept it.
I like that.
That is
I like
nice.
it a lot.
Wow.
I like it.
So investors, if people want to invest, how do they do so?
That's a very good question, because that is key now for us to scale up. If you want to have more impact, we see need more business, and we need also investors to accelerate. So there's two levels to invest, I would say. It depends on the amount of money available to invest. Obviously, it's investing in a startup, so it's always more risky than investing in an established business. But its return also, the potential can be also greater. It's always in pair in finance. When the more you take risk, the more chance you have to make a multiplier. So they can invest in equity. We have a holding that gather all the different operation that we have. So we have an operation company in the UAE. We have just starting a ZeLoop Argentina. So the investor can invest in the holding, so just by equity. Knowing that when you acquire equity of ZeLoop, the company holds 10% of the token that we have generated for the ecosystem as a reserve fund. So if the token gets valuation, it will also help the valuation of the company. So it's a cash reserve, I would say. 48% of the token are distributed free in the ecosystem through the app or through partners. If they don't have large funds, they can also invest at small level by going on the exchange. We are listed in 2 exchanges, so they can buy a bit of crypto. Then so you can start from for $1, or I don't know what is the minimum. Probably there's a minimum, because between the transfer fee to bring some money in the exchange. But yeah, you can start with very little fund. We have also liquidity pool on a decentralized exchange. It's called PancakeSwap. So people can also be liquidity provider on that. The liquidity pool is very small at the moment, but it's just to start and give also the possibility for people to just put a little bit and see how it works, and learn from it, and gradually get confident in the system. We've been on the market now for a while, so what people scare you. We see a lot of the token for us is a tool, is not a name. It's really to create value for the ecosystem. And like I mentioned, it's a very fantastic tool for that universality. Investor can check our track record through our social media. We've been present daily, weekly for the last 3 years. We have some reference, obviously, with business. We have worked with brands, and we start to have more projects. We have a new project starting currently in India with the Goa state board pollution board, state board pollution board. Yeah, it's a bit acronyms and so on, but we will have a 2 months program where we reward people for collecting trash, old plastics, also fish nets and so on, to prevent. It's southern of India, so it's on the seaside, and then so that will prevent a bit marine littering, because we will avoid that plastic to end up on the beach and in the oceans.
Yes. Do you have a website that has all this information on it?
Absolutely. So we have actually we have the main website is the www.zeloop.net,
Okay.
which is primarily explaining the app and how we can use the app for businesses to incentivize their communities and so on. So it's primarily oriented the B2C, with a bit of explanation for the B2B part. And then we have released the new more serve as a landing page, but it's a website that is www.smartblockengine.com. I will send you the link after.
Okay, please.
So to be sure, and that is really to explain how the different use case on the platform. So like I mentioned, API, white label, or ZeLoop as an example. Yes, we use blockchain. Yes, we use a utility token. But you will see when you download the app, we create automatically, our reward engine will create automatically a wallet for you, a blockchain wallet.
Oh, wow.
So you don't need to know, you don't need to be tech savvy and know anything about blockchain or whatsoever. It's automatic. And then when you drop bottles and when you validate the action, then we trigger the reward engine that then does the movement of moving the token from the master wallet to your wallet. And when you redeem your tokens against goods and services, the reward engine takes care of moving those tokens from that wallet to the next wallet. So
Awesome.
if you are not tech savvy, you can just stay at the level where it just behaves like a point system. For
Wow.
those who are more tech, they can withdraw, and that is more for the crypto addicts, I would say, or more familiar. And you were asking about the generation who we are targeting. The younger generation are getting more and more familiar with that. They have a wallet and so on, their private wallet. So in the app, you can also decide to stack, but also to send your token to your private wallet, and then you go on the way. So it's a way also to attract the crypto lovers to start to do impact.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
That is amazing. Wow, Eric, thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
We didn't know a thing about ZeLoop, but now we know so much. And we are just very fortunate to be able to share this with our audience. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for spreading the word. It's always we need
pleasure.
that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.